How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Box to Box. It's a Monday night fixture. It tends to always be either a Monday night or a Friday night when we visit Crystal Palace, and I'm here with the Crystal Palace regular on this channel. D, what are you saying, D?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I mean, it's more how you doing, because last time we spoke, you were stressed. Vieira had just got sacked. There was rumours Hodgson was coming back in, but all of those doubts kind of got put to bed early on. He improved the side, kept you lot up, and he's retained his job going into this season. On that, are you happy with that at the moment?
I'll be honest. If you asked me like yesterday or the day before, I would have gave a completely different answer. I think the Elise thing changed the whole mentality even going into this game. It's a game now where we've got the fans excited. There was a lot of frustration in the lead up to this game because of Elise going to Chelsea and all of them rumours. But thankfully, that's all now dusted. Now it's time to get to business. So, look, overall, there's a lot of people that doubt Roy. There's a lot of people saying, why did he come for 1 year? But it is what it is. He is here, and he did do well towards the end of last season. Of course, when we last faced you lot, that's when Vieira got sacked. That's when Paddy McCarthy came in. So you guys didn't see Roy Hodgson. But, you know, in the past...
So what are you saying? We're going to see Roy Hodgson on Monday?
Now you're ready to see Roy Hodgson.
You had doubts yourself about him. And you know what's fair? You know why I bring it up?
Yeah.
Because we've spoken on this channel for a couple of years. And every time we speak, you always mention, you had doubts about Mikel, though. You had doubts about Mikel. Well, it's my turn to say, you had doubts about Roy.
Yeah, I did. And the reason why I had doubts is because towards the end of his tenure, when his last time around, before Patrick Vieira actually came to the club, it was a case of negative football, predictable subs, and it was just boring. It was the same old, same old. But then looking at it in hindsight, it was a case of the players were just not good enough. And we saw in the last 10 games, we played some brilliant attacking football, better attacking football than we saw under Patrick Vieira. We scored goals. We didn't concede that many as well. There wasn't anything wrong with Palace, in all honesty, in the last 10 games. And I think that's down to the players. I think that's the main difference. Last time when Roy was at the club, we had one of the oldest squads in the Premier League. Now we have one of the, not youngest, but it's not as old. Yeah. We've got a good balance between experience and also younger players as well. So that's why it wasn't as bad when he last came around. But that's the thing, we didn't know, because last time Roy was at the club, it was a case of boring football, predictable football, and that's down to, well, we know now, that's down to him not having the resources. Now that he does have the resources, now that Elise is staying, we'll see what happens. I'm not predicting a massive season. I'm not going to say we're going to finish in the top 7, but we have to fight for top 10. We have to, because that's what Roy Hodgson said. That's what the owner said as well. So we have to fight for top 10.
What's this season about for you then? Because you know you're not going to, do a madness, as you just mentioned. You got Roy Hodgson for a year. Is this year about transitioning from Roy Hodgson into a next manager and leaving the club in the best possible position for that next manager? Or do you think a successful season means Roy, and by successful season, I mean a top half finish, keeps Roy in his job?
I think has to be it. It's 1 year, one last year of Roy. Even he said it as well. He's been hinting it. He didn't say it directly, but he's been hinting it. It's not going to be. I'll be very surprised if he stays longer than this 1 year. I think this year is about now finding what we want to do in the next 5 years, because there's a lot of problem in terms of the ownership as well. There's owners have come out publicly speaking to the newspapers saying how they want to be more involved with Palace. So there's lots of stuff that's going on behind the scenes that lots of neutrals won't know about. So we need to solve all them problems this year. We need to figure out what type of football and what type of way we want to kick forward as a football club, and I think we have to do that just in the span of this season. While saying that, we still need to try to finish top half, because that's what Roy has said. Roy said it last year when he was in charge, and he said it in pre-season as well. He said it twice now, and you don't really hear a manager come out in pre-season or even last season talk about how this squad has talent to finish in the top half. So if the manager puts that expectations down, then why should I not as a fan? I think it's only right if we keep Elise, if we keep Eze, and we got one or two additions which are very good. I think Lerma is going to be fantastic, and we're going to talk about him probably as well in our midfield. I think he's an underrated move. And also we got Matheus França from Flamengo, 25 million euros. He's even got a €5 million add-on, or if he was if he was nominated for Ballon d'Or. Okay. That's how much. That's how much.
The Martial deal with United.
Yeah, well, exactly. that speaks highly. I'm not saying he's going to be nominated for Ballon d'Or, but we got one or two more signings.
How old is he?
He's 19.
Okay, young.
He's 19. Yeah. He won't feature in this game. He's out injured. But that's the thing. We're slowly building a squad, and we just have to make sure that we sign that one or two players and we just build on this season, because we have got talent, but we've got one or two more business to be done.
outside looking in, I think it's about time, the owners do something, because Palace have been that team that just teeter, whether it's, nearing the top half or they're nearing the relegation zone. You stay in the league, but there doesn't seem to be any ambition from the owners. So you're mentioning the owners are coming out a bit more to speak. You've just secured Elise, having had the Chelsea interest, which is massive.
Yeah.
We've seen what Chelsea have done to Liverpool recently with players that they're both interested in. So that's a big move from Palace. You could see how much it meant to Parish as well. He comes out and announces it.
Yeah.
But it's about building on this now, because you mentioned you've got a good mix of experience in youth now. You've got more than a couple quality young players. I think Elise and Eze stand out in that department. So what as a fan now, what is the next steps for Palace? Where do you want to be in 2-3 years?
2-3 years, it's hard to say in the Premier League, because you ideally need money. As you said, we're not known for spending big. The only time we've spent big is when Vieira first joined the club, and that's because we had to. As I said, when Roy was last time around, we had an aging squad. We had lots of players out of contract, so we had to spend money. But apart from that, we're not really big spenders.
Yeah.
But saying that, when we do buy players, more often than not, we do get some quality ones. Eze, for example, we can sell him on for profit. Elise, as we saw it, can sell him on for profit. Gehi, Anderson, Decore, who's now linked with Liverpool. So when we do business, it's decent. But the question is, have we done enough so far? Which I don't think so. But still, there's time to do one or two more. And it's about finding them gems for limited price tag. That's the problem. We don't have crazy money. I don't know why. Because we've been in the Premier League for 10 years. We've got billionaires as our owners as well. Harrison Blitzer.
That's what confuses me.
Yeah, but that's the thing. As I said, I think there's something wrong with the vision at the club. Certain owners want certain things.
Okay.
For example, I think C. Parish wants to go with a less risky approach, which I understand.
Self-sustainable.
We're going to, self-sustainable. We're going to build a new stand.
Yeah.
So this is basically, this side is going to change where we're recording right now, which is going to be great for the club. Of course, that increases revenue, which in the future you would expect us to spend a bit more. But saying that, we got another owner of John Textor, who owns Lyon. He owns Botafogo in Brazil. He owns a club in Belgium as well. He's got the multi-club model. And he came out speaking to The Athletic, and he basically said that I want to be more involved. I kind of regret giving Steve Parish the power that I gave, because Steve Parish doesn't own as much shares as he does, but he runs a football club. So there's a lot of complications behind the scenes. So this season, as I said, Turkish, we need to solve all of that this season so we can actually build on. Until everyone's on the same page, how can you know what you want as a football club? If one person wants one thing and another person wants another, you have to sit down on the table and solve that. Solve that until you push forward.
You mentioned a couple of signings you made as well. I want to talk about Arsenal now and look at the start to our season. Nottingham Forest 2-1, but looking a little bit more back, and the signings of Declan Rice, Timber and Havertz. Outside looking in from your perspective, someone that has a lot of Arsenal friends, hence why you're more aggressive with your approach when discussing Arsenal.
I'm not. I'm not. I just say
no. They've seen you. You've seen it.
No, I just say how I think it is.
So what do you make of Arsenal then? We finished second last year. We've bought in Rice, we've bought in Havertz, and we've bought in Timber. Timber's now out for a considerable time. So really and truly, the additions for this season are Rice and Havertz.
I can't lie. That Timber one's going to hurt. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you sign Rice, I'm not going to talk about Havertz. That's a topic that we're going for ages.
He has to prove himself.
He has to prove himself. But I think Rice and Timber were the main signings. And with Timber, I think the main thing is he can play in two different positions. He can play at centre-half. He can play as a fullback position. And I think that's what cost you the title last year. So now when you look at Arsenal and you lose Timber, that's a massive blow. Because I think everyone was talking about Rice, and I think Rice is a fantastic signing. But when it comes down to the thick of it, when you're halfway through the season, when you got games back-to-back, when you got Champions League games as well, that's when you need the depth. And I feel like Timber would have been their most ideal signing. He done well for you lot in pre-season. That's pre-season, but he's got the qualities. And I think he was going to show it for Arsenal. And I think that could have been the difference maker in a way when it comes down to it. A player that could, play in two positions, a player that's still young, very comfortable on the ball as well. So I think that's going to be a massive miss. But saying that, Arsenal made some good additions. Arsenal squad, in theory, if you exclude the injury from Timber, has improved from last year. But saying that, I don't think it's enough now with the Timber injury, because that Timber injury is not a normal injury. It's a big injury. You need to replace him. You need to replace him. Whether that's a permanent or loan, that can be debatable. But it's one that's going to hurt. I truly believe that, because last year Rob Holding was playing. And you can't let that happen. You can't let that happen this year around. Injuries happen. Injuries will always happen. And that's why it's all about depth. You look at Man City, they've always got players that can step up, whether that's from the academy, whether that's from the first team.
Or the transfer market.
Or the transfer market. Well, we can't really talk about that because they won the treble. Whatever they do.
And to be honest, they
don't spend as people say they do as well. I don't
think
anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, they're more, sensible with their approach. If it fits our price tag, we'll get him. You can make that debate about their new signing, Gvardiol, or whatever. They spend a lot for him, but we'll see about that. But City are just, they're fools. They're fools. It's about who can defeat City. It's not about who can win the Premier League, who can defeat City, because City are the champions. They're the treble winners, and also they run this league.
Yeah.
They're making this league look like a farmers' league in a way, by the way that they're winning
5 out of the last 6.
Exactly. Now, can they do it 4 in a row? That's going to be hard because Kevin De Bruyne is out injured. But this is also a good opportunity for Arsenal, if we're being realistic. You've improved the squad, but you still need at least one more. That Timber thing bugs me. It bugs me because I feel like you need one more defender.
One more defender. We was all talking about one more attacker prior to the Timber injury. Now that's where that debate comes in. Do we bring in one more reinforcement defensively? Do we bring in one more attacker? Because last season, you're right, and the season before that, defensive injuries cost us. Whether it's Villarreal semi-final, whether it was last season, the season before last in the top 4 race, whether it's last season in the title race, injuries defensively cost us. But one thing, Saliba, that injury, 100%. When you look at the impact it had, you can look at that injury and say that cost us. But I think Tomiyasu being injured in that same game was really the icing on the cake in that department, because it's not often you have two big defensive injuries simultaneously in the same game. Now I look at it and I think, all right, who we got centre back? We've got Gabriel and Saliba. They were the partnership last season. We've also got Ben White who can come and cover him. We've got Tomiyasu who can do the same. So, and we've got Kivior who, towards the end, partnered up with Gabriel. And
do you trust him?
I don't know much about Kivior.
That's the thing.
I'm still willing to learn. He's of a good age, 22, 23. He played at the World Cup. He's got a good experience. He just has to be given games now. And when we saw him at the end of last season, definitely for me an upgrade on Holding.
I mean, everyone is. Even you would be probably an upgrade on Holding as well. If you're going for the title, you can't have Holding playing any games. Yeah. That's just unserious, and that's why I think you've improved the depth. And by the way, an underrated signing is the goalkeeper, David Raya.
Yeah.
I think that is very solid business from Arsenal. I know there's a lot of debate about whether it's going to be number 1 or not, but at the end of the day, you had Matt Turner last year, right? And he just wasn't good enough in the European games. He didn't look as solid. Now, I think this is going to elevate Ramsdale game as well.
Should do, yeah.
And people looking at it the wrong way. They're looking at it as, is Ramsdale going to get dropped? Well, if Ramsdale does get dropped, that should only push Ramsdale. And I don't think he will get dropped. I think there'll be rotation between maybe cup games. And he's only healthy as well. So that's another underrated move by Arsenal as well, by strengthening that department, because it gives you that flexibility when it comes to cup competitions, when it comes to rest as well, that you can, you got two solid goalkeepers. Injuries shouldn't really faze you.
I nearly forgot about the Raya signing. Yeah, we've got him in on loan with an option to buy at the end. And you're right, in the other competitions where, Matt Turner might have been given a chance, we haven't looked the same Arsenal. So having Raya there, whether he displaces Ramsdale and becomes our number 1, or whether he does the European competitions and the cup competitions, we've got a goalkeeper that is adept at playing this modern day football, playing out at the back, doing exactly what Mikel Arteta wants to do. So now our plan A and plan B keepers both know how to play modern day football. Both can play with their feet. Both have very good distribution stats. So you're right. That is a good signing, and one that has gone kind of under the radar. I mean, I know a few clubs were after goalkeepers this summer, and
Tottenham. I think Tottenham were after him.
I'm surprised Raya didn't go to one of these clubs.
Well, it shows Arteta's vision, I guess. He's selling a plan, and that's what you have to give him credit for, because I'll be honest, I was here about 2 years ago talking about whether Arteta can do it. He still hasn't won you the title, but whether he can, push you guys on to win you the title. But there's been progression, as you said. But saying that, on top of the progression, there's been 2 bottlings as well, in my opinion. You bottled the title last year. You can say it as it is, but I feel like you bottled it. And then the season before, you bottled top 4. As there's been progression, you can't take that away from him, but you need that killer mentality in the squad as well. Maybe the players have learned from the past to... You can say, you don't agree with the bottling now. We spoke about it for ages. Maybe they can learn from it. They're still young players.
Yeah.
But you need that killer mentality to win those games. And I'll be honest, like games like West Ham last year, For example, you should have won that game.
Sort it out.
You should have won that
100%.
game. How on earth are you conceding that many goals to Southampton at home? We faced them the game before, and we beat them. Palace beat them 2-0 at their ground. How are they, coming to your ground and performing like that?
It's not that I disagree about the bottling thing. I've said it many times. People can label it as bottled. I get that. People can label it as choking. I get that. You can put many different labels to what happened at the end of last season, and all would be right. But the reason I'm hesitant to judge in that manner is because, let's say this season we go on and win the league. Do you think people are going to look back at the last 2 seasons and say Arsenal bottled it? Or do you think they're going to look at the last 2 seasons and say Arsenal needed that experience, that pain, that heartbreak to get to where they are? Every great team needs those failures to become a great team.
Yeah, but that's opinion. If you win the league.
If, 100%. That's why it's still very early days for me to say whether, those seasons, the last 2 can be judged as seasons bottled or seasons that were necessary in order to become this great team that wins majors. So I want to see what we do this season because the pressure's on us. That De Bruyne injury as well, massive. So the pressure's definitely on us and it's increased with that one. So we'll see how that goes. But key men, let's move into key men. Who's the key man for Palace? Who should we be worried about?
I think you have to look out for Jefferson Lerma. Lerma is the one signing that is going to be massively underrated, even by the neutrals. He played against Sheffield United, not just Sheffield United, but we know his qualities of the game, and I think he complements his game with Decore so well that last season we didn't really have a midfield against you lot. We had Will Hughes at times, we had Jeffrey Schlupp maybe playing in midfield, but now we've got a midfield free, and I'm so excited to see what he does against you lot because we got Decore who handled Declan Rice at West Ham last year. I'm not saying he's going to do the same because Arsenal's team is more flowing and he's going to have a bit more opportunities, Declan Rice, to perform better. And then, you got Odegaard that we know talent. So, but it's going to be now Eze, Odegaard, it's going to be Decore as well there. It's going to be Lerma. So I think that's a free that I'm looking at in this game. That's a free. If we can control the midfield, if we can give you problems in midfield, then it gives us a better chance of getting something out of the game. I don't think we're going to win it. We'll talk about prediction. But yeah, I think that's a very, very solid move for free transfer as well.
Confident in your midfield. What about Arsenal? Who are you looking at as the one player you need to keep quiet in order to take something?
It's hard. There's a few. A few. You got some talented players, some dangerous players.
It's about time.
What? About time about what?
Yeah, 2 years ago when we were speaking, we had one key man, and that was Aubameyang at the time. So
Aubameyang.
Now,
Aubameyang.
We've moved on quite a bit.
Yeah, literally. We've got you got Saka that I'm worried about. Martinelli as well that I'm a bit worried about because Martinelli against Joe Ward is going to be a battle that I'm not looking forward to. But look. We've got the talent as well. We've got the talent as well to keep solid defensively and hopefully, try to keep it as quiet as possible, such a 0-0 or 1-1. We'll take that.
1-1, yeah, you're just jumping straight in with the prediction.
Yeah, I'm jumping in with a prediction.
Not as confident as usual though, D. Usually you're a bit more confident in home.
You don't understand.
Palace,
I'm doing a Jose right now, bro. I'm doing a Jose mind games. You can't, because I've realised every time I come on here with that confidence, it's not being good. It's not being good. I've been getting slated after the games. Maybe if I come with a bit more of a conservative result, then maybe we could get that win. But
cool.
I'm going to go for 1-0. I think 1-0, I'll take it. You lot weren't that great against Forest, especially in the second half. But I think you will be up for this game. There are some weaknesses in our side, as I said. Joe Ward against Martinelli is going to be interesting, but there should be support around him to try nullify that approach. But Saka even against Mitchell, that's going to be a good battle, as well. But I'll take it 1-0 because I'll be honest, like the mood right now after that Elise thing, it's our first home game of the season, Monday night at Selhurst. Against Arsenal, who doesn't want to get a win against Arsenal?
Come on.
We're going to be up
Everyone
for it.
Wants to knock
exactly.
us off.
Everyone wants it. At least as well. We can admit that. So we're going to be the first team that try to do that, and hopefully we do. Hopefully we cause you a hiccup.
Yeah, you mentioned Forest, and we didn't have the greatest of games. We got the win. On the other hand, I think you had quite a good away day at Sheffield United. It was only a 1-0 win, but it should have been more.
Yeah.
I think it definitely should have been more. And it was a good start to the season for you. I'm going with an Arsenal win. Because I think we should win, especially when you look at last season and our form for the majority. We need, in my opinion, to start this season in the same way. One thing about having doubts about City, whether they are weak or whether this De Bruyne injury will have an impact, we need to take advantage of it. Maybe City are not impacted as much as we would have hoped by this De Bruyne injury, but all we can do is take care of ourselves, and 3 points is a must. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. It's going to be hard fought.
I'll be honest.
I'm going to go 2-1.
I'll be honest, just quickly, this season is going to be harder for Arsenal. You've improved the squad, but there's so many other stronger teams now. I think it's going to be an exciting year. All this, look, there's always World Cup last year. Like, there's always something going on with the Premier League. But this is like a full Premier League season.
Yeah.
We're back to it. There was COVID, there was this, there was that. Now we're back to it. And I think Arsenal are going to be tested. But then again, I think it's a good opportunity for you lot. Good opportunity. You have to try to beat us, of course.
Yeah.
But Kevin De Bruyne being out, you see, as you said, Gundogan, he's gone as well from
Mahrez
City.
gone.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to be up for it. But let's see if you pass the first battle against the Eagles.
Yeah, 100%. We will see. Monday night, people. Arsenal at Crystal Palace. Obviously, AFTV will be here. The fan cams will be done. Big up D as well, back of the nest. We're going to tag the channel link in the title. One of us are going to be doing a preview on his channel, so make sure you look out for that. Make sure you look out for D on Monday on the fan cams, and also he'll be doing fan cams outside as well, right?
Yeah, potentially we could do. But even if it doesn't happen, I'll probably come on AFTV talk about the win.
Do some fan cam, man. Your fans are going to be vexed. You need
the fans are going to be vexed?
Yeah.
Nah, bro, trust me. We're all smiling right now. The reason why
I thought you were going to tone down the confidence. It only takes one line for the confidence to come back out. He's trying hard.
We're all smiling right now. The sun was shining until you lot came down with your Arsenal tears. Look at it. Look how great it is. But right now, we're comfortable. Don't worry. Our fan cams will be nice. It will be nice on Monday night, I'm pretty sure.
Out there, my bro. Love. Come on. Big up D. Make sure you subscribe to Back of the Nest. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you leave us a comment in the comment section as well. Key men, both for Arsenal and Palace. Predictions, lineups, thoughts. With Timber out, does Zinchenko slot straight in? We want to know it all, people. Comment section, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Notification bell on. And love for the love, people. All right. Peace.